Initially, it was first used in 1986 for the investigation of patients for vasovagal symptomatic. They noted that the exposure to a 60-degree for 60 minutes triggered the vasovagal reflex in 66% of the patients in that study of syncope with unexplained origin. Since then, many protocols, including shorter duration or potentiation protocols, have been used to increase the sensitivity and shorten the execution time of this test. Coming over to the indications. In 2006, in this study, the definite indications included unexplained recurrent syncope or a single episode in the absence of any organic heart disease, either associated with injury or in the settings that might pose a high risk of injury. Another is unexplained recurrent syncope or a single episode in the presence of organic heart disease, but the cause of syncope the cardiac causes of syncope have been excluded. And third is a case in which the cause of syncope has been determined, but the predisposition to neurocardiogenic syncope may alter any treatment. The other possible indications included were to differentiate from convulsive syncope from epilepsy, assessment of recurrent and unexplained falls, evaluation of recurrent unexplained near syncope and lightheadedness, evaluation of recurrent syncope in setting of autonomic failure of peripheral neuropathies, and evaluation of post-exertional syncope when an episode cannot be reproduced by exercise testing. Based on this, in ESC guidance 2009, the class 1 recommendations included two things: young patients with obvious or without obvious or suspected heart disease with recurrent syncope of unexplained origin, in which the history is not typical enough for a neurally mediated syncope, and in cases of a single episode of unexplained syncope which occurred in situations where there is high risk of physical injury or with occupational implications. The rest other indications to differentiate were kept in class 2 recommendations, which included to difference between convulsive syncope and epilepsy, to differentiate between reflex syncope and orthostatic hypotension, for the evaluation of patients with unexplained recurrent falls and when dealing with patients with pre-syncope or recurrent dizziness, and to also rule out recurrent syncope and psychiatric illness. In the latest guidance, which is 2018 guidance, the change was that all this were included in the class 2 recommendation. So now the recommendation goes for indication. TIL testing should be considered in patients with suspected reflex syncope, orthostatic hypotension, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, or psychogenic pseudosyncope. And TIL testing may be considered to educate patients to recognize symptoms and learn physical maneuvers, which is one of the treatment protocols of vasovagal syncope. So these have been included in class 2 A recommendations. For diagnostic criteria, it can be used in reflex syncope, orthostatic hypotension, POTS, or psychogenic pseudosyncope should be considered likely if TIL testing reduces symptoms along with the characteristic circulatory pattern of these conditions. So in 2018 guidelines, basically they say that TIL testing is more important to show that there is a presence of hypotensive susceptibility in that patient rather than it being used as a diagnostic thing. So basically, if the patient is having hypotensive susceptibility, so that plays a major role in guiding for a pacemaker therapy. And if the patient is having asystole or more than 3 seconds, whatever the response comes of that testing will affect the pacing treatment to be used or not. So basically, that is the point they have included or changed in the 2018 guidelines. Coming over to the preparation, so patient should be kept NDU for 4 hours, and before the test is started, the patient should be supine in supine position for at least 5 minutes if no IV is taken. And if IV is taken, it should be a longer period, like for 20 minutes the patient should remain supine. And proper precautions should be taken, like tying him up so that he does not fall during syncope. The electrodes include 3 ICG electrodes, 2 of them which are placed in the lateral side at the xiphoid level. The third ICG electrode is placed on the neck between hairline and shoulder, and the neutral is on the left leg or hip. The ECGs are played, ECG leads are played accordingly. It includes finger cuff, which should be of appropriate size, should not be too tight to avoid any changes in those influences on signal quality, and should be placed on 2 fingers to avoid any discrimination in the findings. And the BP cuff should be of appropriate size. So this is the complete setup. This is the software which records all the ECG monitoring, BP and everything. And methodology. Many protocols are used. The most common is which is given 5 mg in 5 minutes. That's a serotonin reuptake inhibitor. All these protocols have similar rate of positive responses. So what we do is initial supine phase is for 30 minutes, during which all the ECG, BP, heart rate is being monitored, which is followed by a tilt phase of 20 minutes at an angle of 70 degrees. This is the passive phase. If syncope occurs during this phase of passive phase, the test is terminated, the patient is again brought to supine position. If syncope does not occur during this period, the table is brought to supine position for a period of 10 minutes. After that, the isoprenalin infusion is started at 1 microgram per minute. The drip is run for 10 minutes or until the heart rate is increased to 25% of the baseline. After that, the table is treated to 80 degrees. Again, it is waited for 10 minutes. If the syncope occurs, the test is terminated. If not, the table is brought again back to the supine position, kept for 10 minutes. The test is repeated again with 3 micrograms per minute. After that, again for 10 minutes, that 3 microgram is run. Patient is again tilted up, and still there is no syncope, then the test is considered.
So, what rapidity you increase the angle? Slowly or quickly?
Sir, slowly, like first 2-3 minutes it should be at 30 degrees, and then after 3 minutes it is increased to 70 degrees. That is what.
Have you seen it or somewhere it is mentioned?
Sir, in some of those articles where this test was done between isoprenalin, they had mentioned in that manner that head of tilt is done like with 2 minutes it is kept at 30 degrees and then 70 degrees.
So generally it obviates the chances of syncope if at all there are, it is going to develop. If you put it 30 degrees for 3 minutes, patient will fully get acclimatized and then you again go to
70 degrees.
so then
But in the guidelines of where there is not mentioned, only where the tests were done, the trials.
Please ask Dr. Somu and if you can come back with the answer next time.
Yes. When symptoms occur or where there is progressive fall of BP for more than 5 minutes or BP falls to less than 60 mm G systolic, the test has to be terminated, or there is no symptom at the end of 45 minutes. The response.
How much BP for you say?
50 millimeter of Hg systolic.
60. If it falls less than 60 mm of Hg, then also is supposed to terminate, or if the BP is progressively falling for 5 minutes, one should terminate.
Systolic blood pressure less than 60.
Less than 60 is an immediate.
That is through this finger.
Sir, BP arm cuff is there also, finger is also there.
Oh, really?
Yes, setup non-invasive BP cuff measurement has to be continuously done. The fingers for the heart rate and the SpO2 is also to be measured and beat to beat so that the BP and the pulse is mentioned. And the ICG electrodes helps in recording the cardiac output and the systemic vascular resistance and ECG monitor.
So you check blood pressure immediately after attaining a particular position?
Yes.
Immediately.
Immediately, then 3 minutes, then 5 minutes, at regular intervals. The responses to be seen for HED. The most accepted classification is of vasovagal syncope international study. It includes type 1 of mixed response. The heart rate drops at the time of syncope, but not less than 40 beats per minute. If the heart rate goes below 40 beats per minute, the drop lasts less than 10 seconds, and the blood pressure drops before the heart rate. In type 2A or cardio-inhibitory without A system, the heart rate drops below 40 beats per minute for more than 10 seconds. The BP drops before it. In cardio-inhibitory with A system, there is asystole that lasts more than 3 seconds. So the decrease in BP precedes or coincides with the drop in HR. Type 3 or the vasopressor effect, in that heart rate does not drop more than 10% of the baseline at the peak or at the time of syncope, but the BP drops. Two exceptions to this classification is one is chronotropic incompetence. There is no significant increase in HR during the tilt, like less than 10% of HR before the tilt. And second exception is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. In this, excessive increase in HR, like greater than 130 beats per minute, both initially and throughout the tilt before the syncope. So this is the normal result. Like when the test is started, when there is a tilt up, This is a normal response when the patient is kept from supine to standing position. A slight drop in HR and BP, which leads to activation of baroreceptors, thus increasing HR and BP. This is what is the normal response in a treating test. Now, in reflex syncope, after the tilt up, the response can be seen is that the HR and the BP both drops after 5 minutes. If there is only drop in the BP and the heart rate remains the same, then it is known as vasodepressive effect. Otherwise, it is a mixed reflex syncope, which is type 1.
So what happens in vasovagal?
So vasovagal both. This is the mix would be the vasovagal. This is basically vasovagal syncope.
Yes. You need to tell this.
Yes. So this is the mixed form, the vasovagal. This is the tracing scene of one of the patients where the BP drops and subsequently the heart rate also drops. This is retesting with asystolic form, in which there is asystole. After the BP drop, there is a asystole which is more than 5 seconds. So this would be considered as type 2B, cardiac induction with asystole. This is still testing in classical orthostatic hypotension. As soon as the patient is treated up, there is drop in BP of systolic 20 mmHg for within 3 minutes, and that drop is seen, which is continued, and there is a syncope. In that, there are two things that can happen. In some patients, there might be a compensation attempt which may show by increase in heart rate, and if there is no compensation, the heart rate remains the same. So, tracings, this is one of the examples of
Heart
technical.
rate is not affected.
Sir, if the BP drops, if the patient is having good reflexes, not that much, then there might be compensation attempt. So there might be slight increase in the heart rate. And if there is no compensation, the heart rate remains to a steady level. So in classical orthostatic hypotension, it remains at a steady level. But this is one of those patients in which there is drop of BP for more than 20 mmHg. In second, it is that this is the one which I am talking about, where there is compensation. There will be slight increase in the heart rate by the BP is falling.
So suppose when BP falls and heart rate doesn't increase, does it suggest any autonomic dysfunction?
Yes, that is why it is not able to, there is no compensation, so it is not.
So if heart rate doesn't increase, it is not a normal phenomenon.
No, sir. That is just, it is not. It should increase. This is normal. Again, delayed orthostatic hypotension, in the initial 3 minutes, the BP will be falling, but not more than 20 mmHg. Gradually, after 5 minutes, when you see the BP has fallen, there is a syncopal attack. The HR usually remains nearly same. So this is seen in the delayed orthostatic hypotension.
So in these 5 minutes, how many readings of blood pressures are there?
Sir, according whatever that machine is there, the BP should be measured week to week. So it should be a continuous BP monitoring. Ideally,
How it is possible?
it is not possible, sir. Ideally,
How it is possible?
so usually it's 1 minute is the minimum tracing that is there.
So are they checking blood pressure with sphygmomanometer, or they are applying applanation or some other method?
They have said we can use sphygmomanometer that every 1 minute we have to check. It is not possible.
Not
They
possible.
acquired the automatic one, which happens for 1 minute.
So how it takes the blood pressure? The automatic one. Apart from that, any other method to
No, sir.
it must be there.
So they say radial cannulation, but radial cannulation itself would cause pain and alter the stress levels. It is the only way to mention
So
mention
in this
to be-
ESC guideline, they must have mentioned that this tracing is with which method.
Otherwise, it is not possible.
It is-
This sort of graph is not possible.
Yes, but they have not applied the entire guidelines.
And to do radial cannulation for head up tilt is practically not feasible in India.
Yes, sir. That is
Right,
they have
so
mentioned.
which what method? Is there any digital thing involved here? Digital by I mean say any watch or something like that, which with applanation they are checking the blood pressure estimate. If it's sphygmo, it is not possible.
Yes, means the
So
software.
go through the paper and let us know.
Yes.
Exactly. Otherwise, it is not possible to obtain such type of BP. Manually, hardly you will be able to get twice in such two.
Manually sphygmomanometer is not possible. Even if we keep that much, it will take 1 or 2 minutes to measure. So,
And what generally happens if you take a blood blood pressure, even patient is in same position for 2 to 3 times 5 minutes, your own observation will be different. 5 થી 10 નો વેરિએશન તો એમને તમારી જાતે જ
એમની માં જ આવશે એટલું બી.
right? Okay, so આટલું બધું sensitive વસ્તુ આવે છે, that means the method must be something else that we need to know.
Yes. I will continue. This is the graphical representation of the patient. In psychogenic pseudosyndrome, basically in psychogenic pseudosyndrome there is an attack but there is no hemodynamic status which is confirming, so there will be a normal response when the patient is having tilt of slight decrease in BP and HR but in sympathetic overaction and there is increase in HR and BP. So if this is seen and there is an attack of even if the HR and BP has risen, it suggests psychogenic pseudosyndrome. This is one of the tracings. And in postural orthostatic hypotension in that when there is a tilt of there is a slight reduction in BP which causes increase in heart rate and that heart rate increases more than 30 beats per minute in 10 minutes. So this is the response that is seen in POPs. The tracing of one of those patients. Contraindications.
એટલે આ
हाँ sir.
બુક પિક્ચર છે બધા તમે લીધા.
Sir, any guidelines in cases? Any guidelines for
Looks like these are real tracings.
real tracing
They
for
look quite real.
patients which were diagnosed with contraindications would include those which would themselves be a cause of syncope, which include severe anemia, recent stroke or recent MI, severe proximal cerebral or coronary artery disease, critical mitral aortic stenosis, left ventricular outflow tract obstruction, tachyarrhythmias, end-stage renal failure or severe heart failure. If the patients are not diagnosed, till test is not performed. Complications, usually it is safe, but with isotretinoin infusions, ventricular arrhythmias have been noted in the presence of IHD or a six-handed syndrome. No complications have been published with the use of NTG, and there are minor with palpitations or headaches as seen, which are treated. And if the test is positive, the label is lowered immediately, and IV fluids are given. If there is asystole or bradycardia for a prolonged period, does not recommend an introduction. So all that setup is maintained before. According to the guidelines, the positivity rate is 92% for a typical vasovagal syncope patient, or with an emotional trigger. In that they have used drugs, the NTG and the clomipramide. For NTG based studies, it is 78%, and combining both, it is 70 to 65%. Subjects without syncope, there is a passive. In the passive phase, there might be a positivity rate in 13 to 88% of these patients. The specificity and the sensitivity of this test, like there is no gold standard test available, so exact sensitivity is not known, but the specificity of a negative test is at 60 degree or 70 degrees 90%. Their specificity of a positive test is more without the pharmacological challenge. Like if the patient is having a positive result in the passive phase, it is more specific. The reproducibility of this test is like 95% for an initial negative test. If once it's negative, mostly it comes out to be negative. And for positive, it is 30 to 90% if it is repeated within days or weeks. Long-term reproducibility is 60%. It may not produce the same hemodynamic effects or changes in heart rhythm as spontaneous episodes. So basically, a cardioinhibitor response and predictable test is probably neither an appropriate surrogate marker for pacing studies, nor it can be used to predict patients who might respond to pacing. So this is one of the meta-analysis, and that is what is set in 2018 guidelines also. It is just to identify the patients who have hypotensive susceptibility.
Sensitivity and specificity data are almost 2 decades back. Is there any update?
Please,
What was there in 2018 paper? There must be something on the specificity and sensitivity.
Sir, I'll search. Okay, sir, test repeated drugs and all, they have not mentioned.
If they update guidelines, they generally update all aspects. Some update some new data, right? Some improvements, some mistakes, they are always there.